Hello Parnassians, this is Magister Beck, and I'm your Phi Ed teacher. And we have 2 days where we are in a classroom going over physical education, fitness stuff like heart rate, food guide pyramid, how to lift weights, just basic all-around lifelong fitness activities. And the first couple topics we talked about was heart rate, and we went over the food guide pyramid, and kind of like trying to make a workout or whatnot, like if you were to do something on your own, like with a warm up, stretching, activity, and then a cool down. So I'm going to touch on all three of them really quick. So this isn't super long, but you guys can pause it at any time because I'm going to go over some important information. So to start off with heart rate, you have your resting heart rate. It's easiest and best to check that right when you get out of bed because you've been laying down motionless for like 6, 7, 8 hours. And how you do that is you take your two fingers and stick it right here on the top of your neck underneath your chin on the side. And you should be able to find your beating pulse. And the most effective way is to actually count for 60 seconds, a full minute, find out what your resting heart rate is. But sometimes people do it for 10 seconds or 15 seconds, then you just have to multiply it. So if you do it for 15 seconds, multiply it by 4, so it's a minute. And you also can take it right here on your wrist below your thumb with your two fingers, right on this side of your wrist below your thumb. You should be able to feel a pulse. That's how you find your resting heart rate. Now, to find your max heart rate, you take the number 220 minus your age. So let's just make this super easy for everyone. Let's say you're 20 years old. 220 minus your age of 20 would be 200. So that'd be your max heart rate. So lots of times on heart rate charts, it'll show like heart rate zones that you train at. So 65 to 80% heart rate zone, that'd be going off your max heart rate. So you multiply 65% by that 200 or 85% by that 200, and that's the training zone you'd be at. And that's more the athletic aerobic kind of training zone. If you're down in the 50, 55% of your max heart rate, that'd be just more like walking and hiking and just getting your heart rate up for health benefits. And what else? There's also, sorry, a bug, a bee. There's also FITT, which stands for frequency, intensity, time, and type. So frequency, how much you work out, maybe 3 days a week. Intensity, like I said, maybe at that 65, 85% of your max heart rate. Time, maybe you're doing it for 20 minutes, 15 minutes. And type, hiking, running, playing basketball. So there's a bunch of little acronyms out there, like max heart rates, MHR, resting heart rate is RHR, THRZ is target heart rate zone. And that, again, is like if your target heart rate zone is 65, 85%, or maybe you want to go to 70%, try to get your heart rate solid right through there for 20 minutes. So that's basically the overview of heart rate stuff. Then in class, we kind of touched over the food guide pyramid. Food guide pyramids changed a bit since I was in school, and they always tweak it and change it a little bit. I will pull out the newer one. So it's a pyramid, and at the very top is foods and drinks high in fat, sugar, and salt. And it says not every day. You should not consume that stuff every day. And then you go down to the next pyramid, because the pyramid gets larger at the bottom, and at the bottom, you should have more servings of that. So at the very top of the pyramid, it's really tiny, and that was foods and drinks high in fat, sugar, and salt. The next one down gets a little bit bigger. That's fats, spreads, and oils. It says in very small amounts. So stuff like butter and stuff that you use to add to your, like, let's say baked potato and stuff like that, use very sparingly. The next one gets a little larger. It's 2 servings you should have a day. That's meat, poultry, fish, eggs, beans, nuts, anything like protein source. You should have 2 servings of that a day. And a serving size, I mean, nuts and almonds and stuff, you have to look on the side of the bag. It might be 12 or 17. Usually a piece of meat should be, I don't know, kind of like the size of your fist or a deck of cards. A deck of cards is a good way to look at it as a serving size of meat. And eggs, I looked up the other day, 2 eggs is 1 serving. So if you want 2 servings of that protein source, you'd have to have 4 eggs. And you'd be good for your protein source or meats for the day. The next category gets a little larger. That's 3 servings a day. Milk, yogurt, and cheese. Next category is even larger. That's 3 to 5 servings a day. and that's wholemeal cereals and breads, potatoes, pasta, and rice. 3 to 5 servings a day. Back in my day, I'm pretty old right now, but back in my day when I was in school, the cereal, breads, carbohydrates was at the bottom, and they said 6 to 11. Now they changed it so you have 3 to 5 servings of that a day. And at the bottom, that's the largest, biggest category of the pyramid. That's vegetables, salads, and fruit. You should have 5 to 7 servings of that combined between vegetables and fruits a day. And then it says at the bottom, drink at least 8 cups of water. 8 cups of water would be fantastic because water is very good for your body since your body is mostly made out of water. So in class, I had the scholars kind of make a pyramid on in their notebook, write down everything they ate for one day, what they had for breakfast, snack, lunch, dinner, snack, everything they had in a 24-hour period. Write it down and then try to put it next or in the pyramid and try to figure out how many servings they had of each. And lots of scholars in class found out they didn't have nearly the amount of servings they should have had in lots of categories. So they probably weren't eating enough, and then some categories they might have had a lot more than they thought they were eating. So it's kind of cool if you guys could do that real quick. It should only take 10 minutes, not the end of the world, but it's kind of cool to see. All right, what else did we touch base on in class? Oh, the nutrition labels on the sides of foods. It's actually kind of cool because the way it breaks it down, calories are your energy source. Everyone thinks calories are bad. Obviously, calories are better if you're going to eat 4,000 calories of Sour Patch Kids. But if you eat like calories and nutrient dense foods, like if I eat 2,000 or 3,000 calories of like bread, meat, potatoes, vegetables, fruit, that's a good, well-rounded meal. But if this person next to me eats 2,000 calories of like ice cream, Sour Patch Kids, suckers, Smarties, obviously that's not a well-rounded, wholesome meal. So there's two different ways to look at it, but I mean, the calories are good and then you use them for energy. Same with breads and carbohydrates. It's a good energy source. Then we went and talked about an unhealthy diet, what it can do to your body if you're not getting the nutrients and everything you need. And lots of things it can do is it makes your bones more brittle. If you're not getting enough calcium, you're not doing enough like weight-bearing exercises, your bones can get brittle, especially women. So you got to watch that. And muscles, hair, nails, skin, all that stuff can suffer and go bad if you're not getting the nutrients and the vitamins and minerals and everything you need that your body needs to survive on a daily basis. So just make sure you're eating a well-rounded meal, kind of like following the food guide pyramid. You're not getting everything at the top, but you're getting a little bit of everything, using the top very sparingly, like the sweets. And then there's 6 main things I kind of touched on in class, and I'll just read them real quick. Ensure and maintain hydration and electrolyte balance. Like I was telling scholars in class, I do insulation in the summer, and it was really, really hot in the attic, and I pushed myself too far and didn't come down to get water. And when I finally came down, I was so dizzy, I couldn't stand up. I sweat all my nutrients and salts out. I just almost passed out. So one of the job contractors went to the gas station and got a huge Gatorade for me. And that's got the salt and the sugar and all the vitamins and nutrients like replenished my body. And I was able to stand up and walk again. But it was kind of sketchy or scary for a bit. So you got to make sure you're getting that stuff and replacing that stuff when you're sweating. Because when you sweat, you're losing salt and you're losing stuff. So you got to put that back in your body, especially water. Next thing we touched on is develop and maintain ideal body mass. So if you're eating healthy, you'll maintain a healthy body mass. The third thing we touched on, develop and preserve lean body mass. Eating proteins, lifting, making sure you got good muscle density. Then we talked about provide adequate carbs and optimize metabolism. So everyone nowadays is saying carbs are bad, stay away from carbs. There's so many diets out there that are carb free. You need carbs for energy. Your body uses it for energy. Obviously, you don't want to sit down and have 27 servings of bread and potatoes and carbs, but your body needs those carbohydrates to use as energy. That's why lots of track and cross country and endurance athletes always have like a big spaghetti or carbo load, a meal, excuse me, a day or two before the big race. All right, maximize oxygen delivery is the next one. Physical activity for the lungs. So that's why you always see people running on treadmills and in health clubs and ellipticals and stair steppers, because they want to keep their body using their lungs and oxygen efficiently. That's why you see some people when they're at the mall or even at home walking up and down the stairs, they barely can make it up a flight of stairs without huffing and puffing. That's why I'm trying to emphasize you need to utilize this information. It's lifelong fitness. You might not be playing soccer and basketball when you're 47 and doing stuff like that in like intramural leagues, but you're always going to want to stay healthy by going to the gym or walking or doing stuff that's going to keep you healthy and active, and also eating that well-rounded meal with the food guide pyramid. Next one is develop high density skeleton. Make sure you're getting enough calcium, you're doing weight bearing exercises and enough nutrients. Your bones, you don't want them to get brittle because they're what help keep your body up, your bones and your muscles. Otherwise, you just fall down and you'll be breaking your bones. So make sure you're getting enough calcium and you're doing weight bearing exercises because that helps strengthen your bones and whatnot. All right, going through this pretty fast. Next thing we're going to really touch on is everyone knows like what we do in Phi Ed class. We always do a quick kind of warm up, couple laps, jumping jacks, get the blood flowing, and then we're doing stretches, for your arms, behind your head. Then we're doing the legs. And then after that, we get into the physical activity, the game or whatnot that we're doing in class. And then after that, lots of times we don't touch on this. You're doing a cool down. So when you're done doing your activity, whether it's a soccer game or you're running a race, lots of times you do a cool down. Maybe you're doing just a couple lap walk, just trying to get your heart rate down and relax yourself and loosen up your muscles. And then you can do a stretching routine again to make sure you don't like feel super, super sore the next day. Cold showers are really good too, or icing yourself. So what I had the scholars do in class is kind of make up what they would do if they were on their own at home doing a physical activity like workout thing. So I had them write down what they do for a warm up. Let's say they did 25 jumping jacks or ran 2 laps around their house. Then I had them write down everything they would do for a stretching routine to keep their body limber and stuff and get ready for the activity they're about to perform. And then I'd have them write down the actual activity they did at home. Maybe they played basketball with their brother and sister for 20 minutes in the driveway. And then I had them write down for the fourth section, the cool down, what they did for the cool down. So the 2 things I want you to do in your notebook is write everything down you ate in one day, make a pyramid, and then write down next to each category what you ate and how many servings you think it was, just roughly, so you can kind of see. So if you ate spaghetti, maybe it was 1 or 2 servings of noodles, and then maybe it was a serving of meatballs because you had meatballs in your spaghetti. The sauce could maybe go under the fruit and vegetables category. So I want you to do that and then write down like we just talked about, warm up, stretching, what you did for an activity and what you did for a cool down. I'll just go over the food guide pyramid really quick. You could probably rewind the video and then go step by step, but I'll just go over it real quick. Top of the pyramid, not every day. Foods that and drinks high in fat, sugar, and salt. Next category is in very small amounts, fats, spreads, and oils. Third category is 2 servings. That's your meat, poultry, fish, eggs, beans, nuts, anything from protein that gives you protein source. Next category is 3 servings a day. That's your milk, yogurt, and cheese. Next category, 3 to 5 servings. That's your carbs, your whole meal cereals and breads, potatoes, pasta, and rice. And the last category at the bottom of the pyramid, the largest, is 5 to 7 servings, vegetables, salads, and fruits. So I hope this helps you distance learners out for the SOR PE class. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at beck@parnassusprep.com, or if you guys want to see any of the other videos I made, it's Magister Beck 1979, because that's where I'm going to be posting all these YouTube videos for you to in class. And I'll give you a heads up too when I'm going to post them. But that's about it, guys. I hope I speak with you soon, hopefully on the Wednesday Zoom chat or the Microsoft Teams chat. And if, like I said, have any questions, get a hold of me, guys. Have a great rest of your day.